a lot more people would stop producing if this was a real thing.
Who made this, man? Loser. I can't even turn it off.
That was mean. Producers, if you're frustrated with not selling beats, not getting placements, not networking or growing your brand, in my opinion, you have one of these two problems. Number one, not working with intention, and number two, not being analytical enough. Now, these are vague, but let me give you real examples. So working with intention means setting specific goals for yourself firstly, and then making sure that you figure out how to accomplish those goals one at a time. So if your goal is to learn basic music theory by the end of the year, what's the roadmap? Taking lessons, consuming music theory content on a schedule, practicing 8 hours a week, using assessment tools to test your music theory knowledge to make sure that you're on the right track, performing live once a month. You have to create that structure for yourself and that accountability system for yourself. If your goal is increasing traffic to your YouTube beat channel, say you want to reach monetization status, set that goal, create the roadmap, which brings us to the second point, which is the analytical side of things. Now, being analytical entails examining your failures and successes and understanding both of them, then replicating and scaling up your successes and correcting and minimizing your failures. One way to do this, really the most straightforward way possible to do this, in my opinion, is to read about best practices. So, for example, simply searching for the best times and days to post content to YouTube. You can search for any social media platform and you'll find a whole lot of information about the best practices. I mean, this is even a heat map. So try the best practices first. That helps make things easier, figure out what works from there, and then scale that up. Another way to do this is to just examine your YouTube analytics, but first that entails learning what YouTube analytics actually mean. Then you monitor your numbers from the analytics, and that way you see what's working and what's not. So here's another real example. If you check your analytics and your impressions are low, what does that mean? It probably means that you started a new channel, you haven't created a strong enough niche, so you're probably not using the right SEO, low view counts, low audience retention. That could mean poor content. How about if you have a low click-through rate? Well, then that's probably your thumbnail and title combination. Average click-through rate on YouTube, 4.7% is in the good range. So obviously you want to aim for good, and well, you want to aim for excellence, so above 7%. So the tools are out there. It's just up to you to utilize those tools as you're setting your goals, as you're assessing your progress and holding yourself accountable, because no one else is going to do that for you. So you can get rid of a lot of those bad habits and work through your flaws. But a viral meme has been spreading around the producer community. It's exposed a lot of flaws in producers' careers, from not finishing beats on time to just being unmotivated or uncreative in general. And it's hilarious. Have you seen this?
FL Studio Wrapped?
Welcome to your 2025 FL Studio Wrapped. Let's see what you made this year.
Okay.
You made 478 beats. Way to go.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good.
You made 0 of your own melodies.
I'm more of a drums guy. That's fine. I'm more of a drums guy.
You used 1 different snares.
Really? Kind of a weird thing to put on here. Okay.
You got 0 placements.
How does it even know that?
Loser.
Huh?
Loser.
Who made this, man?
Loser.
I can't even turn it off.
That was mean.
So why did you want to share that, Aaron?
Okay, so I think it's a very lighthearted, funny video, but it's also beneficial. I think if we all got it's to me, Wrapped is similar to a high level performance review, right? It's not getting into, this is speaking on Spotify Wrapped. It's not getting into the nitty gritty of the day to day, but it is showing you what your year-long efforts have produced to some degree, right? There's some things that they highlight that are extreme vanity metrics that people love to run with that I'm like, this doesn't actually mean anything. And then there's certain things that I'm like, wow, this is super insightful. Shout out to them for adding that. So I think that the Spotify side is really cool. adopting that, I've seen a ton of companies take it this year and make their own version. I've seen some artists, like I work with a muralist and graphic designer in Austin, and he dropped a rap about all the projects he was a part of, how many murals he had up in the city. It was just really cool. So to me, bringing it down to the producers, where this guy got basically a realistic view of who he is and what he's doing and what his productivity, but also lack of productivity has yielded, I thought was really funny. I think more industry positions, more industry players, whether it be a manager, I would actually love if managers could get it wrapped. Cause I feel like if artists could see at least like decent managers, I know Dame said he doesn't believe that they're good managers, but I feel like if my artists could, back in the day when I used to manage, could see how many unanswered emails got sent, how many hours of research that I did, you know what I'm saying? How many rejections I got that I didn't pass along to the artist. You know, like I think things like that are really cool. I think the metric system, I think data is always beneficial. And I think in a data driven world, sometimes we will ignore those things. So I just thought it was I thought it was funny because it was very real. One of my friends, Slim, he posted it, and he's a multi-platinum producer. Like he just got off a tour with Lil Wayne as his MD, and then did Drewski's tour. He's currently the MD for Summer Walker's stuff. He's got a bunch of records on. He's an incredible producer. He's never not working, right? He's done the most Tiny Desk ever. Like he holds that record. And so he posted it and said a lot more people would stop producing if this was a real thing. And I don't know if that's necessarily true because we live in the age of delusion, and shout out to all the delusional people. Dame doesn't agree, but I think I'm a bit delusional too. So like shout out to us. But I think that in the world of delusion, it may not help, but I could see it being beneficial. Like I feel like when you look at the numbers, if you're a self-aware human being, they're helpful. So I don't know. I thought it was funny, but I think it's helpful. I think more people need to go in at the end of their year and actually evaluate from a wide perspective and not just the highs that they want to post on socials.
So question, if there was a producer wrapped, what metrics would be the most helpful? And when we get this new version of rap that we come up with right now, would it be dope if everyone was required to make it public? What's on the producer wrapped that would be super beneficial? We're not thinking to expose people, but to get people better. What's on the producer wrapped?
I think it completely depends on what your goals are. If you are starting out, I think unfinished beats, that would probably be easy for a DAW to figure out. You know, how many beats have you made versus how many have you actually bounced out?
I like that. Okay, that's one.
So that's good, but it depends on your goals, because you might be a producer who's already at the point where they don't need motivation to finish beats. So many producers
we're talking about the folks that are trying to get on. They're not on.
Okay, trying to get on, then that, absolutely. I'm trying to think what else. I would say, depending on your DAW, if you're not recording tracks, then that kind of goes to show you that would indicate that maybe you're not producing songs, so you're not getting song production experience.
I feel like the DAW can't tell you this, but in this, he kind of pretended like they did. He was like, you landed 0 placements. Like they won't know that, but I feel like if that was something, like how many placements you landed, I would say like, the longest beat it took you to complete in a year. And I know that's a little bit subjective too, but like maybe you started February 1st on one beat, you touched it 83 times, or you spent 92 hours with it and it was finally finished in October. You know, something like that I think would be really interesting, because I think about projects that I put down and pick up. I constantly do that. Sometimes I wonder how many hours have I spent on something. So I think that would be cool. I also think about how many people you've collaborated with. Like, the one, it was something like that, but it said you completed no hooks or something like that at the beginning. And he
The
was
comments
like,
are hilarious.
Yeah, I thought that one was great too. So like maybe because I get it. I know people who specialize in like subs. Like I know people who have like 20, 30, 40 placements just because of like sub work that they're doing. So if you have a specialty, I think that's fine. But I think, yeah, like how many people you've collaborated with, what is the most amount of producers on one beat, something like that. I think things like that to help you visually map out what is effective and what's not. I think as long as it's feedback that propels you or that stops you from wasting your time, I think it's beneficial.
I actually don't see this as being far-fetched, but some kind of app that aggregates information from your DAW as well as from your beat selling platform, as well as Spotify, obviously, because those stats are available, as well as what's the other one, Muso, and
Yep,
then
and they aggregate. So I feel like all
yeah,
you got to do is just add a couple of other things and you're there.
yeah, you might just be Muso should just do this, and then YouTube, because a lot of producers, I mean, it's all about goal setting. So if they could aggregate all of these statistics and analytics and output an overall picture that's put more plainly, because a lot of producers don't understand the significance of, say they're uploading beats to YouTube, they might not be able to understand what impressions versus engagement or click-through rates and all this mean. So yeah, if a website could aggregate all that, and specifically for producers, it could say, look, you finished a lot of beats this year, so you're up like 300 from last year. Congratulations, that's great. You can check that goal off of your list because now it's very clear that you've mastered the art of completing your files. So your discipline has improved. However, your impressions are high, but your click-through rates are low, which means you probably need to work on your YouTube thumbnails or, whatever the case is. And they would they would aggregate it all and then give like a report card to a producer.
Yeah.
I think that would be helpful. I mean, we have those tools now. It's just that a lot of people need some third party to explain it to them all at once. The thing I'm going to say is this.
Spotify had Wrapped before Wrapped. Like you could look at all
Yeah.
those, not all of them, but most of those details you can still access in here. So I agree. It's like somebody to just pull it together makes a big difference.
Yeah, because you can look at your EMS, email marketing system stats now. You can look at your growth over time. Every single platform should have analytics. If you don't have goals written down, then the only thing I'll say that I wouldn't recommend is waiting till the end of the year to glance at these numbers.
Right.